Thank you, Hazel, for those kind words, and it is with much pleasure that I welcome all the delegates here today and thank all the sponsors in terms of their support for this very important meeting. Coming to Singapore each time is always a pleasure. Just to find yourself around Singapore is very difficult because it's continuously changing. The first time I came to Singapore was in the early 60s. When there was a change alley which was a lot narrower than what it is today. But in terms of the development that's happened not only in Singapore but in the Asian region, it is absolutely phenomenal. And the aviation industry is a very, very important part of that and integral to the further development of the region. As everybody in the room would know, that the Asian market is now the largest in the world and also the most rapidly expanding. So the opportunities in terms of aviation, but also the importance of aviation in the region for continuing the growth and supporting and the infrastructure that's required to allow the industry and the commerce and trade to improve in the region and keep on increasing is without doubt. In terms of my presentation today, there was a few dilemmas that I had. I didn't know quite how to introduce myself because I am from a number of different backgrounds. As Hazel mentioned, Avlaw International is a group or a network of law firms and aviation consultancy that specialise in aviation, and today is actually going to be the launch of that. But in terms of my presentation, I was a little bit in a dilemma because I didn't know which background. I'm a bit of a master of trades in a number of different areas in aviation. So if you have a look on that list, I'm not quite sure how this list would translate within different regions, but this is the Australian Reader's Digest survey. So I guess in a way I've been a pilot, not that I do much flying these days, but also been a teacher, school teacher and university lecturer. And I do write a few books on aviation law in my spare time, so I guess I'm an author as well. And I've been a CEO and a lawyer. Well, I still am a lawyer, I suppose. So the dilemma that I had was that how do I get the message across in the most convincing way in terms of what profession I'm at? So I elected to consider myself a pilot for the day for the purpose of credibility. I guess that slide indicates the special role of pilots within the industry. So today I'd like to introduce the topic of aviation and the aviation market before I introduce the keynote address. Some of these credentials of the Asian aviation market are just absolutely staggering from a wide range of reputable sources with IATA here today, Airbus predictions, KPMG. There is no doubt that the expansion of the aviation market in Asia is absolutely prolific, but is going to continue at increasing rate. In terms of other aspects of aviation, it's hard to imagine what the future industry is going to look like. In the last decade, with the proliferation of low-cost carriers, how it's changed forever the aviation scene. But in terms of what the future may look like, I would just like to give a little insight. The Congress in the United States handed down a mandate in July this year to the Federal Aviation Administration to integrate unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAS, into unsegregated civil airspace by September 2015, which is an incredibly ambitious task, but in terms of future of aviation, there's no doubt that the advances that have been made in the military area of unmanned aerial vehicles are going to be transferred and translated into the civilian market. The opportunities are just endless. One of the research topics for the fourth year engineering students at Sydney University was a research topic of designing a UAV to be able to go from Sydney to Dallas to transport human hearts or organs in 2 hours. That is the sort of opportunities that can exist. Obviously, it can have a lot more commercial applications in terms of search and rescue and inspection, but eventually it's going to move into every facet of aviation. So I just wanted to bring that in terms of the changes that have happened in aviation, and just to emphasise that. So this could be the future autonomous UAS. What stage it will be at, we don't know, but before I introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, I've just got a half-a-minute video which you might look at the future of airline operations going forward in the next couple of years. So this is in Los Angeles Airport.
Qantas 11, this is Los Angeles Tower. You are number 1 and cleared to land on runway 25 right.
Roger, cleared to land, Qantas 11.
Unmanned flight 50, you are number 2 behind a Qantas A380 on short final 25 right.
This is unmanned 50. Negative. We want to be number 1.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
That last part is an excerpt out of Space Oddity 2001 with a prediction of what future unmanned systems would be about. Perhaps that's not quite going to be the case in Los Angeles in September 2015, but I think that it just gives an insight as to what might be around the corner.